In the turbulent years of the American Revolution, loyal patriots stepped up to defend what they believed was their right to be free from Britain's shackles. In the years leading up to the Revolution, Britain passed many punitive laws aimed to punish the Americans for the Boston Tea Party and force them to repay the funds accumulated from the French and Indian War.
The American Revolution was truly a war of independence from what American patriots saw as a tyrannical and oppressive Great Britain. A growing majority in the colonies actually protested the increase in control that Britain had over the colonies, and one of the most influential acts passed during this period were called the Intolerable Acts because they were seen as so intolerable. These acts closed the Boston Harbor. They appointed a new government in Massachusetts, while also increasing the power in the military governor. They allowed British officers to be tried in a different colony, or even in England, and they permitted the quartering of troops.
With the beginning of the war underway, heroes and influential figures naturally started to arise, ranging from scholars such as Ben Franklin to generals such as future President George Washington. However, one of the most interesting figures of this time period is Benedict Arnold, a person whose name would come to be synonymous with traitor.
Benedict Arnold is a really interesting figure in American history. Hailing from Norwich, Connecticut, in 1741, Arnold first apprenticed at an apothecary business, kind of like a pharmacist in today's terms. He even served in the militia during the French and Indian War, aiding Britain with their battles.
Once the Revolutionary War finally broke out in 1775, Arnold joined the Continental Army, partnering with Ethan Allen and his frontiersmen. They managed to override the unsuspecting British troops at Fort Ticonderoga.
The Battle of Ticonderoga was one of the first major victories for the colonies, where the colonies were able to secure, mainly due to its positional importance. Ticonderoga was one of the passageways from British Canada to America, along with containing an important cache of artillery, and Arnold participating in this invasion automatically made him a person of great importance, a hero, if you would.
From there, Arnold's appearance as a hero only continued to grow. Following a humiliating defeat in the Battle of Quebec, he correctly predicted that British forces would attempt an invasion through Lake Champlain and supervised the construction of a fleet to hold them back.
And once again, Arnold proves his status as a hero by delaying the British invasion, enough so that the British fleet had to go back to Canada by the time they broke through. Unfortunately, this is where things start to get hairy for Mr. Arnold.
Despite all these successes, Arnold still felt like he wasn't getting the recognition he deserved. Mainly, he wasn't being paid enough, and he wasn't climbing the ranks fast enough. In 1777, Benedict Arnold resigns from the Continental Army.
This is probably the beginning of where Arnold's true motives began to shine through. Nevertheless, George Washington himself asks Arnold to reconsider and gets him a place in the army under General Horatio Gates.
But the thing is, Arnold and Gates are seriously not vibing with each other. Even though Arnold is under Gates' command, he decides to disobey his orders and lead his own team of soldiers to fight on the front lines. And what do you know? He succeeds. His impromptu attack frazzles the enemy, leading to American victory. 10 days later, the same army surrenders at Saratoga, which is pretty much everything America needed to win the war.
With this victory, American morale is raised, and France agrees to support the Patriot cause, providing much-needed support. Now, Benedict Arnold is truly an American hero, contributing to 3 major events during the course of the Revolutionary War. However, he had suffered from 2 leg injuries in the course of battle, and he left the battlefield to become military governor of Philadelphia.
And here we finally start to see Arnold shift his alliances and make worse and worse decisions. He's accused of abusing his powers for profit, marrying the daughter of a rumored loyalist, and ultimately putting himself further and further in debt. Finally, he passes the event horizon in a way and plans to serve under the British rather than serve for an ungrateful country that he believes does not care about him at all. This is truly where he becomes the villain of his own story.
In 1779, Arnold is appointed as commander of the American fort at West Point, New York. But by this time, Arnold has already communicated with British Major John Andre, offering surrender in return for money and a command in the British Army.
You know, the funniest thing is that John Andre actually ends up being the one captured, with all his papers on him and everything. So Arnold, hearing of this news, flees across the British lines, and in the end, West Point stays with America, and Arnold only earns a portion of the money negotiated.
And from what I've heard, news of his treason and treachery is what actually lifts the Patriots' morale. So do with that what you will.
In the end, Arnold only serves in minor skirmishes with the British Army and once the war ends, he goes to Britain, living there the rest of his life. Suffering from gout and other health conditions, Benedict Arnold dies in London in 1801, his name forever tarnished in history. See you next time on The Beginnings.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on
The Beginnings.